we're going to talk about growing your own potatoes. And in the last 5 or 6 years, numerous new varieties of potatoes on the market. Here's a variety called Dakota Pearl that's new for us at the nursery, but we have probably 8 or 10 varieties of potatoes. This package says that it's early season variety. What does that mean? Well, that means that it's going to be planted, it's going to grow fairly quickly and mature fairly quickly. So I like fresh potatoes on the barbecue with some fresh vegetables, and this way we get to do that early in the summer already. There's mid-season potatoes and there are late potatoes. The late potatoes generally are going to take almost twice as long for those plants to mature and get good sized potatoes. So I put some early ones in, and then probably in another couple of weeks we're going to put a late variety in that's going to be good for later on in the season, right? Potatoes have to be certified. So on the back it says here certified potatoes. That means that they've been inspected by Agriculture Canada, meaning that they do not have potato blight or a number of other diseases that potatoes can be very susceptible to. In having said that, when I plant potatoes, I'll plant this garden here this year. I will not plant potatoes there next year. All right, just because if there is some disease that came in through the season, I cannot put fresh, clean potatoes in an area where there's old potatoes or old potato stems. Chances are I'll spread disease again. So every year, I'm going to change the gardens as far as where I plant my potatoes. And that also goes for tomatoes, which are very similar in the family as potatoes. Diseases can be held in the soil. And if you keep rotating into a different section of your garden and never plant the same thing in the same spot, really helps cut out on diseases. Let me just dump them out so you can have a good look at them. All right. You'll see 2 or 3 or 4 of these potatoes that are a little bit larger. These are eyes. Eyes are little sprouts that are coming out of the potato. So if I had a great big garden and I had more potatoes than this, I would like to plant a lot more potatoes than what I've got here. A lot of the potato growers, they'll actually cut them in half. And as long as you have an eye on this piece and an eye on this piece, these will still grow. Now the trick is, this is really wet, juicy now. So if I put this in the garden right now, and we've got a lot of damp weather, a lot of rain, likelihood is it will not seal over, it will rot. Especially if we get cold weather, all right? So if you want to cut your potatoes up and get more pieces, this one here's got so many eyes on it. Eye here, here, 4 or 5 here, another one there, another one there. And what you could do is you could even do a piece like this and 3 potatoes out of 1. But if you cut it like this, put it back in the mesh bag or a paper bag, put it in a cool, dry spot out of the sun, and leave it for at least a week. What that's going to happen is going to get a skin or a scab on top, and that's going to seal the potato from moisture. Then you plant them in the garden. So if you want to plant potatoes and you're going to use big ones and cut them up, do it a week before you're going to plant. Potatoes, very large compared to our peas or spinach, so they're going to go further down in the ground. In order to do that, I have to use a shovel pretty much, and I'm actually going to dig a trench. Better not bury any. So a little bit more work, but again, you know, old potatoes, new potatoes always taste way better. And once these things have finished flowering, we'll start digging potatoes out already in the midsummer. We're not going to wait till the plants completely die either. Once a potato plant has flowered and the flowers are pretty much faded, I can get a shovel and I'll come in from the side of the plant and I'll dig down a little bit and I'll find 1 or 2 little potatoes like this, about the same size as that. I can take those off that plant without disturbing the roots of the potato, the rest of the plant, and fill the hole back in, and the plant will just keep growing and keep producing potatoes. So you can steal a few potatoes off each one as you go. So we're basically going to put them about 10 inches apart. I'm just going to try to split all these and fill the row as we go along. Now, if you have really heavy soils, really heavy clays, generally you might plant a little bit higher. If you have sandy soils, you can go down deeper because it's very easy to come up through sand. Heavy clays, a lot of plants have more difficulty pushing through the heavy soil, but you find that over the years as your garden soil improves, then depth is going to not be as much of a problem in heavier soils as well. So I'm just laying them in the bottom of the trench. Doesn't matter up or down. Sprout's going to find its way. So there we have a row of potatoes in. Now I'm going to put at least 4 inches of soil back on top. I don't necessarily have to fill it right to the top again. The reason I wouldn't do that is it's easier for me to water it when this is about 1 inch lower than the rest of the garden. Then the water all runs into the trench instead. Like I said, it's going to take 2 or 3 weeks for the potatoes to come up. And usually when one sprouts and shows up on top of the ground, then 2 or 3 days, most of them will be there. Level out a little bit. Easy enough.